Okay, so welcome to our conference lesson today. Once again, my name is Alistair and I'm here to take you through today's lesson presentation, which is called the past simple versus present perfect. Today we're going to think about common pitfalls and how to differentiate between these two key verb tenses. Well, we have 4 parts to the conference lesson today, and here they are. So, number 1, the disappearance of the past simple in French. Okay. Number 2, when to use past simple versus present perfect in storytelling. And number 3, common mistakes and how to fix them. Last one on the list, number 4, British versus American. English differences. Okay, well, let's have a look at our first part of today's lesson, the disappearance of the past simple in French. So, in modern spoken French, the passé simple, or past simple, has almost completely disappeared and is now used mainly in literature, formal writing, and historical narratives. Instead, French speakers use the passé composé, the present perfect, to talk about completed past actions, even when referring to specific past events. Now, this shift in tense use started centuries ago as spoken French evolved towards simpler structures, favouring the passé composé, because it is easier to conjugate and recognize. So this shift started centuries ago. In contrast, other Romance languages still use their equivalent past simple forms in speech. Because of this, French learners tend to transfer their native pattern into English, overusing the present perfect instead of using the past simple where it is required. So, once again, because of this, French learners tend to transfer their native pattern into English, overusing the present perfect instead of using the past simple where it is required. So, we're going to have a look at an example for this on our next screen. Here we go. So in the English, the past simple, I went, I saw, I did, for the verbs to go, to see, and to do. I went, I saw, I did. And the present perfect for the same verbs. I have gone, I have seen, I have done. So in English, the past simple and the present perfect, they serve different purposes. But this is not the same in French. As a result, French learners tend to make mistakes, such as saying, I have seen him yesterday, instead of, I saw him yesterday, which is correct. Okay, so I have seen him yesterday is incorrect. I saw him yesterday. This is correct. Okay. Well, let's have a look at the next part of the lesson, which is when to use the past simple versus the present perfect in storytelling, relating a story. So the past simple for completed events in a story. Here's the first use. Use the past simple for actions that happened at a specific time in the past. Here we've got Romeo and Juliet. So Romeo saw Juliet at the ball and immediately fell in love with her. The event is finished and happened at a known time in the past. Past simple. Number 2, use the past simple for sequences of events in a story, one action after another. Here's an example related to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Charlie opened the chocolate bar, unwrapped the golden ticket, and screamed with joy. Each action happened one after another. Well, let's look at the third use here. So number 3, use the past simple for completed past states. Something that was true at a past moment, but is no longer true. It's finished. This one is from Harry Potter. Harry lived with the Dursleys before he discovered he was a wizard. This was true in the past, but changed later. It's finished. Okay, so 3 uses there for the past simple. Let's think now about the present perfect for connections between the past and the present. So the first one here, use present perfect for actions that started in the past and continue into the present. So use the present perfect for actions that started in the past and continue into the present. This example related to Harry Potter. Harry has always wanted to know more about his parents. Okay, so his desire began in the past and is still true. Harry has always wanted to know more about his parents. His desire began in the past and is still true today. Okay, well, let's have a look at number 2. Use the present perfect for experience that happened at an unspecified time before now. This example relates to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Charlie has never tasted chocolate so delicious before. Okay, it's in the past, but we don't know when. The exact moment isn't mentioned, just the experience, the general experience. Charlie has never tasted chocolate so delicious before. Okay, well, let's have a look at a third use of the present perfect. To use the present perfect for recent past actions that still have an effect on the present. To use the present perfect for recent past actions that still have an effect on the present. Our example relates to Romeo and Juliet. Romeo has just married Juliet in secret. Romeo has just married Juliet in secret. The action is recent and relevant to the present moment in the story. The action is recent and relevant to the present moment in the story. Okay, so we've had a look at how we can use the past simple and the present perfect in storytelling. So we're going to think a little bit about the common mistakes that are made and how we can fix them. So common mistakes and how to fix them. French learners often mistakenly use the present perfect. Okay, as we said earlier, I have seen him yesterday. We don't want to say that. We want to say, I saw him yesterday. So French learners often mistakenly use the present perfect instead of the past simple. I saw him yesterday. In English, the past simple is used with specific time markers, e.g., yesterday, last week, while the present perfect perfect is used for actions with a connection to the present. For example, since 2020 or ever. So in English, the past simple is used with specific time markers or time phrases. For example, yesterday, last week. These are specific moments in the past. While the present perfect is used for actions with a connection to the present. For example, since 2020 and ever. Well, there are some more. They're very useful words, these time markers or time phrases. So let's have a look at these common mistakes. Okay, so on the left, we have incorrect sentences. In the middle, the correct version. And then on the right, the reason why. So let's have a look at these in turn. The first example. I have lost my keys this morning, but they have been found. Okay, yes, this is incorrect. We must say, I lost my keys this morning. But why? Why? This morning is over. Now it is the night or the evening. So use the past simple. This morning is over. It's finished. I lost my keys this morning. Okay. Well, let's have a look at the second example. The incorrect sentence first. We have met 2 years ago. We have met 2 years ago. No, this is incorrect. We met 2 years ago. Okay, so 2 years ago is a finished time in the past. This is why we must use the past simple. So we've got this time marker or time phrase, ago. It's very much connected to a completed action in the past. Whether we say 2 years ago, 2 hours ago, 2 months ago, or 100 years ago. If we want to use ago in a sentence in English, we must use the past simple. Well, let's have a focus on that third example. So the incorrect version to start with. He didn't eat breakfast yet. This is incorrect. He hasn't eaten breakfast yet. That's better. He hasn't eaten breakfast yet. So yet is used with the present perfect because the action is still relevant now. So yet is another time marker or time phrase, and we use it in the present simple. Sorry, I beg your pardon. We use it in the present perfect, in a negative sentence or a question. Okay. Well, we're going to continue. Let's have a look. So how to identify time markers for each tense. Okay, so these are great words, these time markers or time phrases. They help us connect the context of what we want to say with the right verb tense. So on the left in black, we've got some past simple specific past time markers. Here we go. Yesterday, last week, last month, last year. Okay, so if we want to talk about the past and use that word last, it's going to create a past simple moment. 2 days ago. Okay, we talked about ago. In 2015. So anytime we want to talk about a specific year in the past, in that year, the action must be in the past simple, as opposed to the present perfect. The last one is the word when. When I was a child, when I was at school, when I was young. This creates a completed moment in the past. Therefore, any action for this time would be in the past simple. I watched cartoons when I was a child. This is completed. I am no longer a child, unfortunately. Now, the second column relates to the present perfect time markers or time phrases. And these, they show a connection from the past to the present. For example, since 2020, for 3 years, ever and never, already and yet, so far and up to now. Okay, so there are various things we can say. I have lived in Portugal since 2020. I have played the violin for 3 years. Have you ever eaten snails? I have never eaten snails. I have already watched some TV today. I haven't watched any TV yet today. Okay. I have taught many lessons so far today. I have taught many lessons up to now. There we go. So we're going to continue. Okay. And we're going to continue thinking about these time markers. So use the past simple with completed actions at a specific time. Number 1, I met Sarah last week. I met Sarah last week. He moved to London in 2015. He moved to London in 2015. Use the present perfect with actions that have a connection to now or are general experiences. For example, number 1, I have lived in London since 2020. This is still true now. I have lived in London since 2020. Number 2, have you ever been to Japan? There's no specific time, just the experience. Have you ever been to Japan? Okay, everybody. Well, we have a chat exercise for you all to try if you wish to. There is no obligation to try. If you would like to participate, this is a chat exercise. We've got 5 sentences here, and we want to choose the right verb tense. Okay. So last night we a great movie. Now we want to complete this with either the past or the simple or the present perfect. The same goes for all of these. So number 2, she sushi before. Number 3, I my best friend in 2018. And number 4, he in Paris since 2020. Number 5, their homework. Okay, so we've got some answers coming into the chat. Fantastic, guys. Very good. Feel free to continue to use the chat to put in your answers. And in a moment, we'll have a look at those completed answers. Okay. So last night we a great movie. Number 2, she sushi before. Number 3, I my best friend in 2018. Number 4, he in Paris since 2020. And number 5, their homework. Okay, well, we've got some answers in here Well done. Hi there. So well done, everybody, taking part in that exercise. Okay. I'll just give you a few more moments just to complete those if you wish. Okay. Well, guys, thanks ever so much for your participation. Let's have a look at the correct sentences and the reason why. So, number 1. Last night we watched a great movie. This is the past simple because we have last night. This refers to a completed time in the past. Last night we watched a great movie. Number 2, she has never tried sushi before. This is the present perfect. Never refers to an experience without a specific time at any time in the past. So she has never tried sushi before. Number 3, I met my best friend in 2018. This is the past simple because in 2018 is a specific past time and it's finished. It is completed. I met my best friend in 2018. Number 4, he has lived in Paris since 2020. This is the present perfect. Since 2020 shows an action that started in the past and continues now. It's connected to the present. And number 5, they have already finished their homework. Again, this is present perfect. Already suggests the action is relevant to the present. They have already finished their homework. Okay, well, once again, guys, thank you ever so much for your participation in the chat exercise. But we are going to continue. So very well done, everybody. So, British versus American. English differences. So, as we've talked about earlier, French learners often default to the present perfect because of the similarity to how we speak in French. J'ai fini mes devoirs, okay, which aligns more with British English. But we need to be aware that Americans frequently use the past simple in everyday speech. Aha, okay, what does this mean? So in British English, the present perfect is used more often. I've just finished my homework. Okay. However, number 2, in American English, the past simple is often preferred. I just finished my homework. So we need to be aware of these two subtle differences. Well, guys, we've come towards the end of the lesson today. We just have our conclusion to think about. So here it is. Understanding the difference between the past simple and present perfect is essential for French learners, as these verb tenses do not function the same way in English as they do in French. By practicing with clear time markers and real-life examples, students can develop a more natural and accurate use of these tenses in conversation and writing. Okay, well, guys, once again, thank you ever so much for your attendance and participation in today's lesson. Congratulations, everybody. But we have come to the end of the lesson today, so it just remains to say thank you ever so much on behalf of everyone here at Cercle de Langue and on my behalf as well. That is it for today. Take care. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.